Today I want to look at Galatians 5:22 to 23. I know, you've had all kinds of teaching on these verses, so I'm not really going to teach you. I'm going to tell you a story. Galatians 5:22 to 23 says, this is the New American Standard, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. You notice it started with but the fruit of the Spirit. That's because the verses before talk about the works of the flesh. And I've talked about those before. But I want to talk about the fruit of the Spirit today. Now, when I was first saved, I didn't have those things in my life. I was not loving, I wasn't patient, I wasn't kind, I was sarcastic. That's what I was. Yes, I was. Didn't have much love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, or self-control. So I want to tell you what happened yesterday. Now, I have a very steep driveway, and I can't walk up and down my driveway because, I'm not 25 anymore. You know what I mean? If you're 25, you don't know what I mean. Anyhow, I backed my car out of the driveway to check my mailbox. There was nothing in it. Came back in the house, but while I was out there, I looked off to the side that way, and there was a car sitting over there. Had the hood up, and there was a person sitting next to the car. The person appeared to be elderly. Now, some of you might look at me and say, yeah, you're a little elderly yourself. Well, like I said, I'm not 25 anymore, but I came in the house and I got a little walking stick because I had to walk down a slope to get to the edge of the yard there where she was sitting. And there was a lady sitting there, and she turned out to be 10 years older than I am. And she had a phone in her hand, and she was frustrated. She was trying to call AAA. She was trying to call a friend. She wasn't able to use her phone to call anybody. And I had my phone in my pocket, and I just whipped my phone out, and I said, here, just go ahead and call. Well, she tried calling AAA, and she couldn't get through or whatever. So I sat down next to her, and I said, well, just let me see if I can do it. And so I called AAA, and I gave them the number, and I gave them where we were and the address and everything. And I sat there with her until somebody came from AAA. And then I got up and came back into my house. Well, then I looked out there a little while later. She's still sitting there, and the hood is still up, and the AAA guy is gone. So I went back out with my little stick, and I sat down next to her again, and we had some nice conversations. And she was out there for a couple of hours, and I did invite her to come into my house, but she didn't want to do that. But I sat there with her until the tow truck came to tow her car away to wherever she wanted to go. So what's the point of this whole long story? I didn't have to go out there. I didn't have to talk to that lady. I didn't have to take her a bottle of water. I didn't have to loan her my phone. I didn't have to sit there and talk to her. But I did. Why? Well, it seemed like the right thing to do. It was kind. It was being nice to someone. It was being patient, waiting and listening to her speak, because some of the things she said, they were a little difficult to understand, and I had to have her repeat a few things. But the point is, when someone's in need, if you are a Christian, if you know Jesus, and you know what the fruit of the Spirit is supposed to be, this should be second nature to you after a while. Yeah, at first you read those verses and go, that is not me. That is so not me. I've been saved for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't have those in my life. Well, when you were born, could you just get up and walk over there to the bathroom and take your potty break? No. You had a a diaper on. And your mama had to, or your daddy, or somebody had to come change your diaper. You couldn't go into the kitchen, get a snack. No, you laid there and went, "Wah!" until somebody brought you some bottle to suck on. You were not born all grown up. And when you're born again, when you become a Christian, you are not born all grown up. You can't expect to have all these fruits of the Spirit operating in your life as soon as you're born again. In fact, you might read the verses before that, and you might read the works of the flesh, and you might think, well, that's more me than what the fruit of the Spirit are. And that may be true because you haven't had time to grow. Be patient with yourself. Take time. You know, the more time you spend with God, the more time you spend sitting in church listening to the word preached, the more time you spend reading your Bible. Can you see that? You can't read it. Right there. Right there. No, you can't read it. This Bible is so old, I bought it and put my name on it before I ever got married back in 1984. That's how old that Bible is. And I'm still using it because I have so many different Bibles I've used over the years. And yes, I have worn a few out. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, you need to read the Word. And by reading the Word and getting it into your spirit, you will become more and more and more like God as you spend time in His Word. Now, what I recommend, what I recommend, don't just sit there and read it. Read it out loud. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Now, when you read that and you say, well, that's not me, you know what you do? You put your hand on your Bible and you say, God, this is not me right now. But I want that to be me. I want the fruit of the Spirit to be active in my life. God, make it work in me. Help me to grow into that. And God is faithful. He will help you to grow in the fruit of the Spirit and out of the works of the flesh. Because you know what? He loves you. And just like as a parent, we are patient with our children and we teach them one thing at a time. The first time you look at that beautiful baby in your arms and say mama, say mama, say mama, that baby's not going to say mama. In fact, the first thing that baby's going to say is dada. Happens all the time. And mama's going, wait a minute, I'm the one taking care of you, but dada is easier to say than mama. But anyway, a baby doesn't come up quoting the Bible or the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A baby's not going to say that. Babies have to learn to talk. They have to learn to walk. And parents are patient with them. So if you haven't grown into these fruits of the Spirit, if you still have a few worldly things going on in your life, a few fleshly things, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep asking God to help you to grow and become more and more like Him. And you know what? You ask Him to do that and He will do it. Well, this is getting a little bit long again. I do tend to run on, don't I? Anyway, if you've gotten this far, I would appreciate it if you would click that button down there and like and subscribe and follow and leave a comment and let me know you've been watching. And I'll see you soon.